Guys, so last week I did the video on the topic of what happens before Christmas. Today I'm going to be talking about what actually happens during the Christmas period and, Christmas dinner and those kind of things. And I'm going to be incorporating your suggestions into what I feel are the important parts of Christmas that make things a bit more stressful. Now, on to the topic of, the Christmas Eve kind of time. What actually happens? Well, a lot of you have been telling me that you have a lot of family coming over, and you're just a bit worried that they might all be staring at you, talking about you behind your backs, or they might actually come up and be very direct to you about what's actually happening because I don't know, they've been talking to you from a long distance, they've been hearing about what's been happening, or they've seen you for the first time in a long time and you may have lost some weight. So, what can you do in this time? Well, it is a very difficult thing to do because, as I've said in previous videos, eating disorders are very secretive, and they want that kind of shroud around them so that you can just deal with what you're doing and not have to worry about what other people are thinking. And one thing that I have been trying to recommend as much as possible in previous videos is that you try and seek professional help. Um, they will direct you to the right kind of therapy that you need. And there are so many different types of therapy, and they're all tailored to the individual. And that this will allow you to talk about what is going through your mind, the things that make you anxious, and they'll teach you more healthy behaviours of what you can do under situations such as this, so that when it actually comes around, you've got a safety net in place, knowing what to do, and you will feel a lot more comfortable for it. So if they do come around and they you think they're all staring at you, you will know from the therapy sessions that it's all in your mind. And even if some people do throw you the odd glance, it's only because they're worried for you. And if it is the case that people are throwing you the odd glance, they may feel a bit too timid to talk to you, or in fact, they may come to talk to you about what's going on. And the thing that I've been banging on about in so many videos is that you've got to try and be as open and as honest as you can. And this is something that you will find extremely difficult to do the first time round. And indeed, I found it extremely difficult. And in fact, the first time that I tried to be really open and honest, I didn't do it verbally. I couldn't muster the courage to do it verbally. So the way I'd do it is I'd write down everything that was going through my mind, and I would give it to the person so that they, in their own time, without me being present, could read through it. And through that, they'll have a better understanding of what's going through my mind without me having to tell them. And what happened was actually that this person understood what was going on, and because I detailed, like really detailed, the kinds of behaviours for them to look out for, they knew what to look out for. And when I tried to do it, they would stop me, and I would thank them for it because I entrusted them with doing it by sending them the letter. And because I knew that this started to work, I would then just feel a bit better about talking about it to other people rather than having to do it through the form of writing. The other problem is when people may become abusive towards you. They may become very loud, just wanting to know why you're like this, and just saying, why don't you just eat? Why don't you just do that? Now you've got to understand that they're not angry with you. They're angry with your disorder, and by shouting, they're just trying to vent off their frustration. They aren't trying to make you anxious. And I know it's really difficult for me to just say this, but you've got to just absorb what they're saying and not take it literally. They may say some nasty things to you, but this is all out of frustration. And if this doesn't make you realise that there is a problem, um, it will be really difficult for you to actually realise this. But if this does happen, you've got to stay really calm and just, I don't know, do things that you know will make you calm. And this might just be breathing, this might just be leaving the situation completely. Under no circumstances should you start shouting back at them, because then this will start this mirroring thing where you start shouting, they'll shout louder, you'll shout louder, and then it will all just kind of crumble onto itself, and you'll get nowhere because of it. If you can just walk away from the situation, understand that they're telling you these things out of frustration more than anger, then you can try to adopt more healthy behaviours because of it. Now, moving on to Christmas Day itself. So, the obvious thing that people with eating disorders struggle with is the Christmas dinner. And I suppose it is somewhat different to the normal dinner because when you're at home having a normal dinner, this might be anything from a ready meal to a meal prepared at home. And even if the meal is prepared at home, you've got like, I don't know, it might just be spaghetti and bolognese, and you'll just put that on your plate. Whereas at Christmas, the difficulty arises because there's so much choice around you, and you might choose to have some turkey, you might choose to have this, you might have that, and all of these things might overwhelm you in a sense. And I said this in the previous video, the thing that you really need to have in place before you have Christmas dinner is to have a meal plan. And if you have this meal plan in place, even if you aren't ready for the challenge of just being able to pick what you want freely, then at least you'll have something, a guide, that tells you what you should be putting on your plate. Now, as I said, there is a lot of choice in the matter of Christmas dinner. So even if you do have the meal plan in place, telling you the kinds of things that you need to have on your plate, you don't really know what to make up those things with. And I know that, again, this is really difficult for me to say, but rather than just choosing the things that you know contain the less fat, the less carbohydrates, those kind of things, the things that your eating disorder makes you do, if you've been building up to Christmas by, trying to act on your eating disorder behaviours, you shouldn't let Christmas be an exception, because this will just send you one step back. If you can treat Christmas like any other day, like any other challenge in your eating disorder, and just pick the things that you know that you want rather than what the eating disorder wants, then it will make you feel a lot better on the inside, even though actually doing it beforehand might make you feel really anxious. You will have known this from previous challenges. You know that this anxiety builds up. But when you actually perform the thing and you just try to stay calm, that anxiety fades. And if you've been doing previous challenges, the anxiety fades a lot quicker with each successive thing that you do. So, in a way, Christmas can be thought of as more of the ultimate kind of challenge for you to do. And if you can conquer that, you can really do well